Welcome back to the Be Extraordinary podcast, where we dive deep into real conversations about business, leadership, and personal development. Today, we have a returning guest, Khurram Bukhari, or as many of you know him, KB. You may remember his episode 37, where we discussed how to overcome your rock bottom. If you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, add it to your list at beextraordinarypodcast.com. KB's journey keeps getting more inspiring. From a small Brooklyn apartment to battling addiction to surviving a life-changing stroke and rebuilding his life, he has become a force in the entrepreneurial space. As the host of the Stroke of Success podcast and new founder and CEO of Noor Med Spa in Lake Nona, Florida, KB continues to make an impact. In this episode, he'll break down how mentorship, network, and relentless consistency helped him grow his influence in a brand new space, while still running his thriving real estate business. Noor Med Spa just hit its 1-year anniversary, and KB will share the strategies, mindset, and lessons every entrepreneur needs to hear. If you're ready to turn setbacks into setups and build a network that fuels your net worth, stick around. This is going to be a powerful conversation. Your network equals your net worth. Let's dive in.
Hey guys, this is Brett Young, Taylor Young, and Rod Erb, and you're tuned in to the Be Extraordinary podcast with Erb and Young. Real conversations about business, leadership, and personal development. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show, and we have a special guest, a second-time champion in the building today. I feel like when you walked in, it was like that round of applause when the whole place stands up and gives a standing ovation. So, KB, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you so much.
How are you,
gentlemen? I'm doing wonderful. The love that I have for you three, dude, the world knows. I mean, I say the same thing for you guys. When you guys, every time I saw you guys in the Robert Slack conferences, it was the place stops and looks like the three gentlemen walking in. So same mutual feeling for you guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Great to have you back.
It is amazing to have you back, and your energy is something that I look forward to every time I get to embrace you with a big hug, my friend. So you are an incredible human, an awesome entrepreneur,
Thank you,
and a gift and a light to the people that you serve. So today we get to talk about, this next chapter in your journey. I think last time we were here, we talked about your stroke and the battle back from an unbelievably ridiculous hard event in your life that has shaped the path of where you sit today, has impacted thousands of people and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that we don't even know. And here you are going into another venture, this med spa. You just opened Noor. And by the way, I've been watching from afar in regards to all the grand opening that you put together, the parties you've been putting on. It looks like an absolutely blast. I know there's a ton of work that goes on behind the scenes with opening a new business. So today I really wanted to kind of dive into how is it that a guy goes from this tragic event to now being in 3 different spaces in the course of a decade, has had a high level of success, and continues to go and walk into a space that he doesn't know much about the space, but yet seems to catch traction, and the wheels come down. There has to be some rhyme or reason to that, and I know there is. So selfishly today, I know Taylor, Rod, and I wanted to unpack a lot of the distinct similarities in the process that you follow to get there, and also maybe some hacks that somebody can learn to say, hey man, I'm going into a new business, I'm going into a new industry, I see opportunity, but I don't know anything about this space. How do I have the confidence to be able to go into unknown and feel like I'm going to have success?
Yeah, that's really good. It's a good question. And we'll just start with there. I mean, the unknown, right? And we talked about on my podcast, for me, gentlemen, mindset over everything. Of course, faith over everything, but mindset, right? And going back to my stroke, a quick recap. 1 week in bed, induced coma, ventilator in my mouth. Friends and family came in to say goodbye, right? And no clue what's happening. I wake up Christmas Day, and I'm like, WTF, what's happening, right? And that was a pivotal moment for me. That was a crossroad in my life. I had two choices. I could have crawled in fetal position and did fear-based lifestyle. Oh my God, what happened? This is not fair. Why me? Why me? Why me? God, why me? Or took the other route, what I did, of faith-based, right? And I remember, it's a true story, and I don't know if I shared it last time with you guys. I looked up, straight up, and I said, God, if this is my story, and this is my reality now moving forward, then that is what it is. But if you can give me another chance, one more chance to go out there and be the best version of myself, and number two, to spread the message of positivity, faith, and no matter what religion you are, I just believe in one God, right? I believe in a higher power. And if you give me a chance to go out there to be the best version of myself and help other people to believe in themselves, I promise I'll do the best I can. And I guess my second wish was taken, right?
Wow.
Prayer.
He wasn't done with you.
Not done with me.
This is a day of decision.
Yeah.
Day of decision.
Right.
Seems like, how does that change your perspective when you wake up? Now, I mean, look, let's cut through it. Like, doing the things that we talk about doing, I mean, even before we turn the camera on, there's just this enormous amount of pressure and challenge that comes from doing new ventures and pursuing growth and hiring staff and investing in people and trying to do something that's special. And sometimes you wake up, I don't know if I go to bed with just enormous amounts of pressure 100%. And challenge. And so how has that situation shaped your perspective when you wake up in the morning every day?
It puts things in perspective. Going back 7-8 years ago, 2018, January, Christmas has passed, New Year's passed, and you're in the hospital and you can't move your right side. And you can't say the word buttercup. I shared that story last time, and I don't want to repeat it again, but that put things in perspective. Imagine being a grown-ass man and you have someone else to come to clean you up. So when you go through stuff like that, right, staffing problems, payroll, right, insurance hacks, cyber attacks happening, whatever, right? Yes, these are very serious things. Employees leaving you. You know, you have clients booked for tomorrow and your esthetician decides not to come in our med spot. This happened to my wife and I. You know, of course, the threat comes down still, but you still look back and you go back. There's a word in NLP. It's called, I forgot the word. It's called, where you have moments in time you go back to help
Like
you.
a reference point.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a terminology for that. And you could use an
Anchor.
Anchor. Thank you, my man. And anchoring, that's what I use. My wife, on the other hand, man, she freaks out. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, babe, and listen, my stroke was my stroke, but I salute my wife. She was there standing next to me, 9 months pregnant, one baby running around. A doctor came from the ER. She was saving people's life in the ER, and she had to come and now look at her husband in a very vulnerable position. So I'm like, babe, you saw that happening. I salute you. Babe, this is going to be okay. We'll be fine. So she's right now just self-developing with me slowly. She's getting into that world as well. But, you know, again, going back to your answer your question, have faith, have the mindset, have, you know, and just execute. And, you know, of course, research. You have to do research any industry you get into.
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
I almost think like the underlying, and this matches with the faith, the way I perceive it is the will be fine. You know, if you can get to the point that we'll be fine, or if you have the belief that what you're going through is for the greater good, it's what you're supposed to be going through, what can I pay attention to? Does that allow you to get into solution mode quicker rather than dwelling on the fear, right? So it almost seems like a race to get to we'll be fine, breath, look up, what can we do about this? And because it would seem like there are a lot of those scenarios where I think about the, you know, booked clients and then all of a sudden the esthetician doesn't show up and you go, oh my God, our business is going to crumble. We're going to get a bad reputation. It's going to be worse, bad reviews online. We just opened. Right? All that in real time is happening really quick, but your ability to go, hey, we'll be fine. What would be the first step that we can take?
I think gratitude. Do gratitude. Gratitude is key. And Tony Robbins taught me that. many times, reading his books, watching the podcast. So that's the number one thing I do every morning, and I remind my wife. And I do a thing with my kids. I drop them to school, and my two beautiful daughters, Aiza and Iman. Shout out to Aiza and Iman. I'm gonna watch this later on, and I go, okay, girls. So first thing first, they do affirmations. No, they do a prayer. Right, then do affirmations, and they do I am affirmations. I am beautiful. I am enough. I am kind. I am generous. And then, lastly, we do is gratitude. Thank you, God, for my parents, my mom and dad, my parents, my grandparents. I just got them a guinea pig right now named Cooper. Shout out to Cooper. They give gratitude for everything small, big to small, and gratitude. What that does for everyone, if you do it enough, it rewires your brain. So to answer your question, we're going to a tough time. Month number 1, month 2, month number 3, bro. It was hard. I mean, every month negative.
Talk about opening the opening nerve. Yeah.
My P&L was. I mean, no one knows this, but I used to and me and my wife had a promise that, babe, you do the medical part. You're a provider. Let me do the business part, and don't worry about the money. Not to be sexist and controversial, men can handle stuff differently than women. I'm not saying women are not strong. Women are probably more stronger than men in many ways. Listen, they carried babies, guys. Mm-hmm. They salute to every mom, woman, wife out there, sister. God bless y'all. But men,
we couldn't do that.
We couldn't do that.
No.
Right?
How tough you are. You couldn't carry.
That's why there's a man flu.
So but some things men are more capable to do some things. Numbers, carrying the weight. So going back, P&L is negative. Everything going negative. 4 people coming in the month, like, what the hell, And I told her, the gratitude, ground ourselves in, and just have a vision for the future. The vision with the future, I believe, manifestation. You can't just sit there and do, manifest, 2.5 million a year for MESPA. You could do that, but you have to put the work in. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing they forget in the books and the podcast of law of attraction and manifestation. You have to put the work in.
Active faith. It
can't
can't just be
active
faith.
Man,
It's
I
gotta be
love that.
active faith.
Yeah.
I've got, we've all got a lot of friends and family, and we are of the same people with faith and big faith and lean on faith. And I hear people talk, man, I'm praying a lot about it, and I'm thinking to myself, that's a good component of it. But if you're not really busy on the other side of that, you're
not doing your part.
Prayer is only going to get you so far. I mean, yeah, your intentions are pure, and it makes for clarity, and certainly it probably makes for some manifestation and some attraction. But man, like if you're in that situation, or you're in a situation that you're looking to improve upon or grow upon, and you're not massively in active faith, right? Faith is one thing, but faith without action, it's like, man, like you're missing it.
May I?
Please.
This is my opinion. Okay, so if you don't agree with this and you're listening, it's okay. It's my opinion. I hold it. So don't judge me or judge anybody that has it. But anybody who prays a lot like that and isn't in relentless activity doesn't have strong faith.
Wow.
Because if I have faith that my Creator is going to provide for me, then you better be damn sure I'm going to do my part. Otherwise, you're just entitled, and you're hiding behind something that you don't think is real anyway. I want to come back to prayer, because I think gratitude is something that I have a hard time with. I don't make time for gratitude, but I make time for prayer. And I think there is this amazing part that happens that I've just learned for me. I'm grateful when I'm in prayer, because my prayers are of gratitude.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't necessarily. I'll ask for strength. I'll ask for attributes that'll help me deliver whatever needs to be delivered, but I won't, for some reason, whenever I'm in prayer, it's always in gratitude. But when I'm not in prayer, I don't necessarily have that same perspective. So I struggled with the gratitude journal. I struggled with the write down what you're grateful for, do grateful. It just didn't work for me. But what I've noticed is that prayer connects me to that.
Yeah, kind of embodies all of it, right?
Yes.
It does.
And I kind of echo parts of that. I feel like when I'm in prayer, or when I feel, how sometimes when you pray, or maybe you're in church or whatever, and I don't mean to get off on a tangent, but I just think to myself, when you feel that emotion, you get some goosebumps. I feel like that's kind of the spirit moving through you, giving you the power to experience all the emotions of gratitude and And for me anyway, I feel that hit me. I feel that emotion hit me when I'm in prayer. And it usually comes with asking for clarity or asking for the skills or asking for the doors to open. But that's it. Then I realized for me, it's like, then it's time to go to work.
If you knew it was going to work out and you knew it was going to be okay, how would it change the behavior today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
How would you operate today? That in itself is the greatest gift, right?
Yes, I agree. And that's a new philosophy I got into recently, and it's part of the manifestation. It's called law of assumption. A law of assumption is, and I talk about this quite often in front of my team as well, and I do some keynotes around Central Florida here, and I talk about for my audience. Law of assumption would be this. I have Rod here, and I want to be like him. He's my. I look up to, right? What does Rod do? I would break down his daily habits, read about him, talk to him, and if that's a picture I want to become like eventually in my life, I will start to act like that. It could be Rod, it could be Patrick, but David, it could be anyone, right? Whoever it may be. So you have to look at the individual.
Patrick, but David, Rod, come on, man. You had your choice.
Have you seen Rod's eyes?
If I'm in the
He's
same
got those
sentence
baby
as-
blues,
If I'm in the
man.
same
I'm gonna
same
say that right
sentence
now.
as PBD,
Listen,
come on, man. Like,
you
sorry,
are.
Patrick.
Greatness,
but,
greatness all together. But absolutely, brother. You deserve the accolades. But end goal, for me, I look at my future self as a very successful individual, amazing father, husband, entrepreneur who owns multiple med spas across the U.S. And boom, that's the person I want to become. How does that person talk and walk and dress? How does that person do meetings? How does that person wake up in the morning? Does he work out or not? Right? Does he eat? What does he eat? Right? Does he travel? Like, it's all. And then you have to now start embodying those habits now. So you're acting like that person now.
That is identity work. That is NLP in the best. That was such a great description. It's like, well, I don't know what to do. It's like, well, find the person that does know how to do and then do what they do.
100%.
Right? Yeah, this process is not, it is hard, but it's not complicated, right? And find somebody who has what you want, model what they do, embody their identity,
100%.
and let it play out in every single action and belief and thought process that you do. And if you can obsess over that, then you're becoming the person that you want to be, right? Today,
Bingo.
So
Nailed it.
I know we had talked about this. That's a perfect example. I think you do that so well. And I see you all over the place in regards to finding and seeking. First of all, if you haven't listened to KB's podcast, like you're missing out, because he's got some unbelievable guests that he's been able to land on his show. And so just if you've ever run a podcast, you realize that like this stuff just doesn't happen.
No.
Right? In order for you to get these big guests, it requires a certain level of skill. It requires a certain level of persistence. It requires a certain level of heart. And to be able to get multiple guests to be able to do that, it just shows who you are as a person. And I see that prevalent with everything that you do. It just seems like you value being in the circle in order to pull that back into what you're doing. Can you talk about that over the last 10 years of how that's played a part in your journey? And then also, what are some things that, we can do to be able to kind of leverage that skill set?
Thank you. That's very kind words you said right there. That I would say probably was a big ingredient in my success. Success is what you make of it, which is very subjective, but where I've become. My journey from going to A to Z, 0 to 100, last 10 years, 8 years, right? After the stroke. That networking and surrounding myself with greatness has been a big proponent. And by the way, that's the reason why I started the podcast. Yes, I have good views on YouTube, and it's a nice, nice studios I have on. You guys were on there, and I love having you guys on there. But again, Tony Robbins, man, the guru, my man, the GOAT. He talks about how you are the average of the 5 people you sit with. If you are the wealthiest or the richest or the smartest guy on the table or in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I took that to heart. When I moved to Central Florida about 5 years ago, Coming from Miami, Miami is a very affluent city. I know it's very fast paced over here. The positive thing was that it's not as fast paced, so you can get in touch with those entrepreneurs. And I made a mission out of it, man. I made a mission out of it that I'm gonna reach out to every single person that I look up to or I'm inspired by, whether that's Patrick Bet-David. You know, I talked to Patrick Bet-David here and there on his app, Manek. We shared notes together. He promised to do my podcast after I hit a certain criteria. You know,
Love that.
Vic Tipnis in Tampa. His story was something so influential for me. He had like $70 in his bank account like 10 years ago. He has a sleep apnea company now. He flies private jets. I have met with him. We talked a bunch of times. Have him on the podcast. But going back to your question, just even talk to Vic like this one-on-one, I get the energy, dude. It's contagious, right? So what that taught me was ask the right questions, right? When you meet these people, number one, and number two, take that back and journal it somewhere at what you learned and what you're gonna incorporate and execute the next day.
Yeah, one thing I think about is we talk about the definition of philosophy, right? What you believe, how you hold it, and how it affects what you do. And I think you surround yourself with the 5 people. Like I think majority of people have heard that in the first world, right? They may even understand it, but I think the missing gap is how does it affect what you do, right? There's the action piece that, hey, I'm going to seek this out. I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to make these phone calls, and I'm going to actually make this happen because I do believe that. And that's the beautiful thing about mentorship, because one thing about the identity work that you guys were talking about that I can relate with, you have your goal, your aspiration, and then you have the identity of understanding what's required or how that person acts, how that person dresses, how this person would handle this pressure situation. But then you have the way you are right now, and that's the discomfort piece, because you have all these things that are not that yet, right? By definition, because you're aspiring. And the idea that you have to kill a lot of that, or you have to let it go, or you have to let it transform. And that's where I get back to how it affects what you do. And that's, to me, the missing link for most people. And when I see your story and I see your action, it inspires me because I just think about the challenge of going into 3 different things in the last 10 years and how similar, but yet how different, and your willingness to play in that space of the gap between this is who I am right now, but this is what I want. And I'm willing to pursue that unknown. And that's the scary part for most of us.
Yeah, that's a great statement. I almost would follow that up with, recognizing where you are versus where you want to get to in that gap. You've been effective at every stop leveraging mentorship. Talk to us a little bit about, your viewpoint on mentorship. You mentioned Tony, you mentioned PBD. I mean, I don't know 2 guys that are better if you're searching for philosophy or just good guidance, but talk to us a little bit about, how you view that and the steps you've taken, just the practical steps you've taken to search that out and apply it.
100%. So first and foremost, guys, you have to invest in yourself. Yes, you can get good friends. I can call each one of you, and I have, and time to time, especially you and I have talked a lot, and I get great value with you guys. And of course, you will not charge me. Our friendship is a little different, but if I was to go, but there are individuals out there who are retired and they did the Michael Jordan of their game. A lunch and coffee won't just cut it. There's a gentleman by the name of Eric Spofford in Miami, Florida. I probably saw him on social media. He's sold his company, his big mansion in Miami. He's talked about it all the time. He goes, guys, listen to me. On his selfie, I get the coffees and the lunches, but bro, I sold a 9-figure company. A coffee, a lunch is not going to do it for me. Either come to my mastermind and pay me and sit there with a notebook like a student that you should be and learn. Mm-hmm. But coffees and lunches or dinner. So I look, last 2 years.
I love that.
I loved it. And if you haven't followed him, I'm going to send you guys his profile. Follow him. He's very in your face. And to answer your guys' question, I last 2-3, we met, 22 years ago?
3 years ago.
Last 36 months, I'm on a mission to get better in so many ways. And one of those ways is go to conferences, invest in conferences, number one. Number two, invest in one-on-one mentoring. I probably invested 4 to 5 figures in the last 3 years in mentorship.
Just in mentorship.
In mentorship. And people look at me like, what? What is, go read a book. yeah, reading book is good, and that you should start with reading book. Book is the minimum you should do. Podcast, another one, right? But unless you're here in this company where they provide you NLP and they provide you great mentorship, not all companies provide you that.
Even if they do, like, it just depends on what level you want to
Yes,
go.
there you go. And there's levels to the game. So for me, paying a mentor who's not going to take your crap and say, hey, a second point I want to make to that, when something's for free, we don't value it the same way.
Amen to that.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you pay someone and your hard-earned money's there on the table, and someone say, "Hey, I'm gonna hold you accountable," and we'll have another call next week, and you're gonna come back to me what you said, and what you did. That it makes a huge difference. So going back, mentorship for me has been huge. One thing is to sit there and talk to your mentor and listen, and ask questions, and number two is to implement them and move forward with them.
And that's the piece.
That's the piece.
That's the piece is what you're missing from the book and the podcast is the accountability. It's the leverage. It's the leverage on yourself. And the pros seek out leverage on themselves. They
100%.
don't hide from it. And that's the that's the discomfort that you like, no, I actually want the discomfort. I actually want, when I don't go to the gym, somebody to send me a text, say, where were you? Mm-hmm. And that's hard for people to understand.
Accountability is uncomfortable. I just made this post the other day about the Doge stuff, like save me your political opinion. Efficiency, I think all of us can pretty much wrap our head around it. That's probably a good thing, right? But the problem is when you're held accountable to things, it's uncomfortable. This is the reason why people don't hire trainers. This is the reason why you don't want a board of directors. This is the reason why you don't want partners in a business. This is the reason why you don't want to hire a mentor. Like, it's just... It's uncomfortable. It's like you're forcing yourself into a situation where you have no choice but to grow. And it sounds great when you talk about it, but there's a difference between you're actually in it. Because usually 99% of that sucks. It sucks. It's like but the 1% go, you know what? I'm just going to pull the trigger. I know it's going to suck, but that's what I need. And I'm brave enough to go do that because I know that that's what's required. And after you've done it a couple times, you're like, well, yeah, that's just what the process looks like. I don't fight it. I just know if I want to be successful, that is what's required, and this is a leverage point to be able to get the results that I know that I need to do anyway. Really good, man. I mean, how many people can say that they've spent that type of money on mentorship, number one? And number two, like going to these conferences, seeking out the mentorship, that's what I mean by that. You've gone to these conferences. Then you make the connections. Then you pay for the VIP.
A lot of work.
You pay for the mentorship. Now you have these relationships, and it's not free.
No,
it's your time and energy, and then also you're not there to just build relationships. You're trying to extract value
100%.
to bring it back to your practice.
100%.
Well, I think too, though, Brett, it's like all the things you just mentioned versus somebody that didn't do all those things. For the person that did, the door's ajar just a little bit, right? To me, I didn't do those things necessarily. The door's closed, but the steps you took and the depth you took, it just gives there's a little bit of daylight in there. And on the other side is that person or that group or that network or that person. And it's like you think about the circles that you've been able to run in and the people you've been able to, the people that are influencing you. You're getting into those networks, and you're doing it just because the door's been ajar just a tiny, tiny bit. And you're just there's an old saying, it's like the door's ajar, are you man enough to kick it in, right?
Wow.
And I just think to myself, that's what I think about when you go through that.
We talk about it in our walls, and I almost posted this morning and I said, I'm unreasonable and I don't apologize for it.
I love that.
Right? Like it takes being unreasonable to do unreasonable things. And so there's a difference between wanting something, and there is a difference between I would like to have it. Mm-hmm. There are so many people who think that they want it, but they don't. They just would like to have it. And unfortunately, they don't even know that they're not even in the same ballpark. They'll never get it. You'll never get it because you would like to have it. You don't want it. Want it means I can't breathe without it. Want it means I'll spend whatever I got to do to get in front of this person. Want it means I will ruthlessly pursue my dreams with every single ounce and fiber of I have until it's done. That is wanting it. Would like to have it is I would like to put it on my goal sheet at the beginning of January, and I'm going to look at it every week and make sure that it's in my face. Let me tell you something right now. If you have a goal and you really want it, You can't sleep at night because you want it so bad. Your wife tells you, put it down for a second. You're obsessing. You're waking up in the morning and you're stewing in your middle of your family room because you want it so bad. You're playing with your kids and you have to constantly force yourself to remember to stay present with your family because you want it so bad. That is wanting it, not I would like to have it. And the people that do that are the people that want it. And there is no distinction. It is the same with every single person who's ever had success, the person that I've talked to in this chair, that we've talked to in this chair, or the person that you go to actually see and they're on stage. The process doesn't change. It doesn't matter what industry, it doesn't matter what business you're in. It is the same every single time.
Wow. That's a wrap, boys. That's a wrap.
Thank you guys for having me. I think we're good for the year. Wow, man. What you said.
You know what's so funny, though? I've told you guys this story.
Wow.
One quick story. Fitness wasn't always on my radar, right?
Either.
No, you said it was important.
When I go, right, that's the story I'm going to tell you. When I go back to roughly 2005, 2006, actually a little bit before that, pursuing golf, and for me, the component was I just wasn't a fit guy. And I had a buddy who owned a health club. And he said, man, it's okay. Just, you're never here. I give you a membership to help you out. You're never here. It's okay. It's just not important to you. I'm like, no, it's important to you. It's important to me. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, I'm in here every day working out, and I'm running this business. And he was an All-American wrestler at Indiana, total stud, total fit guy, and ton of respect for his work ethic and what he did. He's like, just admit that you say it's important, it's just not. If it was, you'd be here every day. And it's kind of the same thing, right? It's like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, save it.
What do you say to that?
You know the difference between what you guys are talking about? Who says I'd like to have it more than anybody else? It's kids.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
kids. And what do? They throw fits.
Yeah.
Because they don't have it and they want to have it, right? So you talk about mental maturity.
Yes.
And so speak to me about how mental maturity is associated with this concept, because I tie that back to saying, I'd like to have it, I'm going to throw a fit because I don't have it, versus I want it and I'm going to do what's required until I achieve it.
Great question.
I have a perfect case study for you, and I'm gonna call myself out, and I like to do that, right? Especially in front of camera. Friend, my brother's here. I have a friend named Yasser Sheikh. He's a CEO, founder of a company called Guard Dog. Guy is epic. He's a stud. You should meet him one day. We have lunch or dinner. He's right here up in Longwood. The guy got into business at age 21, 22. He's born in America, but it belongs to Pakistani parents. He's in self-defense. He does tasers, stuff for self-defense. What's that?
Mace.
Mace. He designed a book bag. Give my buddy a plug here. You probably seen it.
Don't mess with that guy.
Right.
The book bag.
The book bag for kids. If someone comes in, they could use it as a shield.
I've seen that.
So when Parkland shooting happened years ago, he's all over the news. Yasser Sheikh, gave a shout out to my brother. He got into this business about 20 years ago. He's younger than me. And he's over at my house the other day. We're having dinner together. Him and my wife are talking. And I go, man, Yasser, you were 22 and you were reading Donald Trump's book, The Art of a Deal. Mm-hmm. You studying real self-development back then. Me at 21, 22 was looking at nightclubs and girls and drugs and partying. Mm-hmm. Of course, I had some trauma I was dealing with, and no excuses. I would try to numb myself. But excuses are excuses, right? I could have made better decisions. And back then, I was also saying, well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. If I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I was serious about it. To his point, I would have put the work in and dedication that my boy did. Mm-hmm. My boy right now, man, he's multi, not putting business out there. He's set. Mm-hmm. Amazing life, beautiful wife and kids. He travels the world. Amazing company. He's always all over the media. And he's younger than me. And every time I meet him, I'm so happy for him, but it's a smack in my face. Like, man, who knows what I would have gone, but to everyone's point here, you can say all you want, but until you put the time in, until you put the mental reps in and mental maturity, what difference between him and I was, he had mental maturity back then.
Yeah, the mental maturity thing is the perception of the problem, how much pressure you can hold at one time, your willingness to stick to somebody, when you don't know the answer. I feel that, right? Yeah. And make no mistake, calling yourself out. Sometimes I'm that kid. Sometimes I'm that baby that is screaming to say, get me out of this, right? I didn't expect this. I want this, but I'm not willing to do what's required. I just think it's important to come back. You mentioned a reference point and an anchor, is to come back to that reference point and remind yourself, hey, this is what you said you wanted. This is the price. So I am in a season of stop negotiating the price. Spend your mental energy on paying the price. And by the time you stop negotiating, you can just pay that price. It's like you mentioned, like waking up in the morning in the comfy sheets. You spend so much mental energy debating whether you're going to go to the gym rather than just getting to the gym and doing the workout, right? So, but that takes the mental reps. That's where the mental maturity comes. And that's where you see, as having young kids, a 5 and a 3-year-old, they don't have the reps.
They don't have reps.
So they don't have the reference point of that mental maturity.
Like, I think about the mental maturity too. Sorry, Brett.
No, it's
I
great.
think about the mental maturity too, and it's like, let us be reminded when it gets tough, or I don't have the skills, or I'm seeking out the mentorship, or my mental maturity is evolving. We chose this,
Come on.
right? We chose this. Nobody said you got to be
Every
you gotta
day.
Be
Come on.
Nobody said you got to be in 3 different industries that you knew nothing about over 9 years post stroke.
Yeah.
You chose that. We chose the pool we swim in. And I think, what a gift, right? What a gift. Number one, you make choice because it's what you say you want to the degree you want it. Cool, that's one thing. We have our conversations and we pump each other up and keep each other pointed in that direction. But the choice then comes with there's really not much choice. You've made the choice. You're either going to get better or you're going to just get run over. And I just think, I think about mental maturity. I couple that with mental maturity. It's like we've made this choice, but there's just a litany of skills we just don't have yet.
See,
or at
that's-
the level we want to be at. We've never done it at that level. So it's like, cry me a river, right? Number one, you chose it. Number two, you're after something that most people wouldn't want to be after. So you better damn well be sure that you're recognizing the skills that you need and you're actively pursuing them. And it's a follow up to what you said, but it's a shout out to you,
And
man.
find the mentorships that have that.
100% find them. Leverage the mentorship.
And when the problems come, you can't just go, God, I know it wasn't going to work.
Right.
I can't believe it's
Right.
it's to say, look, that's why I'm in this and that is required. That's what it is. And so that sequence you just went through, to me, that is mental maturity.
Yep.
It's a reframe of what's actually occurring, not what your perception is. The toddler that's in you wants to lie to you about what's really happening, and it's the adult that comes in the room and says, no. Let me tell you how it really looks. This is you. You decided this. The problem is as a result of you actually just breathing in a space that you don't know the answers yet. So therefore, you are required to go out and seek mentorship and bring those skills back.
Yeah. One thing about mentorship, Brett had a call yesterday of somebody who's 40 years down the line of where we would like to be. And what is complex to us is simple to him. And so that's sometimes how
Such a good reminder.
that's sometimes how you can tell somebody's mental maturity is their ability to clarify a thought in simple terms. And then you go, are you willing to do that or not? Are you willing to pay that price or not? Okay, make that decision. But you don't need to get all distracted about what you think this is or what this isn't.
And you know what? And I love calling yourself out because you know what he's looking. He's like, guys, you got it. It's just simple. But you know what we're doing? We're trying to not make it simple because we don't necessarily love the answer. That's right. We don't love the answer, and he's going, well, it's simple. And we're like, it's got to be more complex of how we can avoid doing
maybe
what
we
know
could
we
spend
need to
2 or
do.
3 more years trying to figure it out rather than
simply
making a decision and executing on a
Hey,
decision.
look, if you want to get fit, you got to move the weight. No. I can eat this. I can do this. I can hook up to this electronic machine. There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a more complex way. It's got to be more sophisticated than what it is. It's like, well, no. I mean, if you want this result, it looks like this. Well, shit. Okay. Well, at least I know the answer, right? So be careful. I think some people don't want to seek out mentorship because you know the answer.
Yeah.
You know the answer. You're just not willing to do it.
100%.
So if I can hide behind, I just don't know how to do it, or I'm here stuck in this space, it's like, God forbid you actually get the answer. Now you actually have to do the work.
100%.
So there's a quote I want you to speak to. I think the mentorship piece is why people say, your network is equal to your net worth.
Yes.
Because it's not that I know a bunch of people and that's great, but I know a bunch of people that when I run up against this, that I can make a phone call,
100%.
pay the money, go see them, and I can receive this reciprocal relationship to help me continue to ascend, because we've all hit points where you hit a block.
Of course.
And you go, I got to look up and out. Who's done this before? who's done this, and then I got to go seek that out. But if you don't have the network, and you do a really intentional job, even with us, man, like, hey, just texting you boys, seeing how you're doing, hey, let's get together, right? It seems like you're intentional about this. So talk to me about how you kind of perceive that phrase, you know, your network equals your network.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? In multiple ways. I think even forget the money part of it, your network work is your net. Yeah, I think for even for the mental aspect of it, right? Right now at this second, top of my head, I can probably say I know personally about 20, including y'all, at you three, and about 15 to 16 people more, very high worth, high value men locally, probably 30-mile radius, that I can call and get them on the phone if I need something. I didn't have that 2 years ago. Shit, I didn't even have that a year ago, right? And I remember one time I went to the conference in Miami a long time ago, and they say, hey, who here has 100 contacts people on your phone? They go, I do, everyone did. Okay. Now, the guy said, take out your brother, your uncle, your friend John or Tommy from college, your girlfriend, and this girl you met at the bar. Who, out of those 100 people you have in there, how many can you call 4 o'clock in the morning for a favor? And literally only 3 people raise their hand. Right, who can you call if you need to borrow $5K for an emergency right away? If you lost your bank account, like access, something happened, who can you call who can do X, Y, Z for you? And every time you ask the question, less hands were raised. So for me, I'm very proud and very grateful right now in my phone. I have enough contacts that I'm covered for a different things. So that's worth itself something, number one. Number two, mentorship. One thing I didn't mention, to collapse time. So I have a med spa. I've been open for a year. I meet people that have med spas for many years now, and we talk. And the problem they're talking about now, after 3-4 years, I've already bypassed that. What does that mean? I have collapsed time. I've reached out. I have coaches in the med spa world. Forget the Tony Robbins, the PBDs, and the Brents, and the Rods. I have people in the med spa world who opened many med spas, and they sold them, and I've hired them to consult me and build a business. So I have where a regular med spa would be should be here, they're here, and in our 1 year we covered a lot more inches. So to speak. Make sense?
Makes total
Success
sense.
compression.
Success compress what I
Yes.
thought too.
I wanted to touch on that too, because we talk about personal development all the time. We talk about it.
Big into it.
But personal development can be this mindset, but also it's practical practitioners that are in the space. The gentleman that I spoke to yesterday is 40 years in our industry at a high level, who's already been done this. It's not about NLP and mindset. It's about tactical things that have been done along the way. If I need to learn a new skill set, I just go find the skill set. Like, that is personal development. People say, oh, you guys do personal development, that's weird. It's like, what are you talking about? You look on YouTube for how-to videos to change nozzles out of your house.
All day long.
That's personal development. It means any skill and anything that I need to learn, I have a system and a process where I can go get the skill. So like, that's a perfect example of a practical example in the med spa where you're like, man, I understand how this game works. In order for me to do what others have not, I have to bring in those people who have already done it.
100%.
Collapsing time or success compression.
Exactly.
That is a skill, that is a process, and that is apparent in any industry, any craft, any artistic, anything that any sort of achievement that you're trying to pursue. That process is the same.
Yes, yes, and so we're ultimately we're investing to come further along, or else we could have just say, hey, let the journey go on. We'll just trust the process, and we're gonna take our time. But I'm 42.
You learn it the hard way,
I'm
the long way.
I'm 43. Yeah. In my mind, I'm way behind. I am way.
Every achiever is.
Dude, I know the feeling.
No, but you guys are trust me. You guys are far ahead. Coming back to your question, 1 second, Taylor. Mentorship. I had a really good point to share with you. Oh, so I go to dinners, a bunch of entrepreneurs sitting down, and just listen to them talk about their problems. That itself brings so much value. Someone over here is building a cannabis business in New York City, 40,000 square foot in Times Square.
Jeez.
Park Avenue. I'm in Lake Nona, homie. My lease, when I was signing my lease, I mean, your guys' office here is huge. I walked in here, I'm like, man, like I wonder what type of lease they have, how much they're paying rent. I thought I had problems, right? I'm like, what the hell, man? And then when I saw that, and then when I sat with my friend here, Mr. Halani, and talking about his business in Manhattan, we opened 5 of them. That just changed my mindset, right? And what it does for me, and I'll let you guys continue, it stretches the mind. What is possible?
Yes.
What is possible? Listen, I got married 15 years ago. It's a funny story I tell everyone. At 15 years ago, I got married. We're struggling, small apartment, me and my wife. And at that time, like, oh, babe, if I could only make $1,000 a week, that'd be perfect for me. But my mind was so, and about $1,000 is a lot of money. I'm not putting anything down, but $1,000 today's market, I mean, you know, it's really struggling. But $1,000, whatever the numbers I had put out there, it was so small. I thought so small. If I can go back and talk to my 21, 25, 30-year-old, 35-year-old KB, you know, even the KB was laying in bed and surviving the stroke. If I can talk to him and say, hey, think huge, think big. And that mentorship that I have, that circle that I built and I worked hard on, including y'all, has helped me to stretch it and say, man, you're thinking too small.
Amen. Yeah, be unreasonable.
Yes.
Be unreasonable.
Be unreasonable.
Amen to that, dude.
Are we going to get new shirts?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm about to stop thinking that about you.
Be unreasonable.
Is
like
that is someone's
I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, somebody has that unreasonable AF
Right?
band. You've seen that?
I like
one
that.
is yeah.
So I want to
Please.
ask shift a little bit, right?
Please.
We've kind of laid a pretty cool framework for your mindset, your journey over the last couple, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years, different industries. Bring us into where you are now. You're 1 year plus into the med spa.
Yes, right.
An industry you knew nothing about.
Nothing.
You started out, it wasn't rosy.
No.
Nobody, and I know you kind of. I won't steal any thunder,
No,
but
please.
I think you've told me and us
Yes.
that you didn't come out like gangbusters.
Nope.
Probably was worse than what people knew it was.
Yes.
To where you are now, to where the success you're having, and kind of what the future looks like, and anything you want to add about Noor and what's up and what's going on.
Oh man. So the wellness industry, guys. So there's 2 industries we're in. Technically, we're in the aesthetics, where it's the tox, the fillers, and all that good stuff, right? Then there's also the wellness industry, and the wellness industry is booming. It has a bright future, as Patrick says. PB says the future is bright. Right now, especially this table over here, CEOs, CFOs, CEOs, and high-value people, achievers, are really in tune with their health. Case in point, my man over here, all y'all, I saw the videos. You guys inspired me every day. But that wasn't the case in the 80s and 90s. In the 80s and 90s, the entrepreneur with a big belly, smoking a cigar in the office.
Works all the time.
Right?
Late hours.
And late hours.
Martinis at lunch.
Yes, exactly. That's who the Draper.
It's not that I want to.
I need.
It's that I need to.
Love it. I love it.
Let's go have a martini at lunch.
And so that time is gone, guys. The word biohacking, it's, I mean, you guys are living that. I mean, you guys are in great shape, but every entrepreneur that I'm associating myself with, every one of them is into taking care of themselves. So that comes with wellness, right? Are you taking the vitamin shots? Are you taking the NAD plus, right? NAD plus is a new thing on the market right now. We offer at Noor Med Spa. It's amazing, anti-aging. So people who work out like y'all and you want to recover faster,
Yes.
that shot could take care of you.
I do the vitamin B
There you
into
go.
the arm.
There you go.
So it's like a shot of adrenaline.
Dude, I was in the hospital recently after New York. I got real sick, and and that was an eye opener to me again. Like, bro, listen, you've been here down this road before. Now they get back and drink water. Like, for me, water is key. So now I go to I get IV. We're gonna offer that in Noor pretty soon.
Dope.
Dude, amazing stuff. So so wellness, circling back to your question, wellness is huge, and at Noor Med Spa, we're gonna expand on that much more. We have a bunch of ideas we're gonna put out there. We are right now looking at a bunch of other locations across the state of Florida, perhaps out of state of Florida. We'll see, but the vision is big, it's crystal clear. I'm ready. I'm hungry. I'm fired up. I'm grateful. This is the best days of my life right now.
That's amazing, dude. How do we get you guys to come in and do a wellness
Oh yeah, we got it.
workshop for our team?
That, you know
Or the
what?
community.
That'd
That
be
would
great.
Or the BEP community. That would be super
Oh,
dope.
that'd be great. We were
Because
asking.
that is a hot topic.
Yeah,
I,
it
think,
is.
I don't think I'm more obsessed with anything other than just that. It's like you're right. It's a trend. I didn't think of it being a trend, but it is like it's like, dude, save me what you can do in your game if you're not taking care of yourself.
100%.
Like, it's
100%.
it's cool to be healthy now.
It is, and it's a good thing, and you know, and we should be grateful for that because look, entrepreneurship. We learned we make a lot of money. We got the rollies on and drive the nice cars and the suits and everything. But I mean, if your life expectancy is going to be cut back by the stress you have, look, us entrepreneurs, we're the real ones won't stop. We don't stop, right? We don't stop. We like, even if you exit. I was joking with you guys earlier. Okay, go exit of the company. I don't think you guys will ever stop. I don't ever see you guys sitting there by the beach just smoking cigars all day long.
Maybe for a day.
Maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days, for a week. Maybe
They
a
would
week.
get,
You know,
they would
you'd
get
be-
really.
and
Big-
it's
big
crazy.
for it.
It's like, you know what you would be talking about over the cigar?
Business.
Yeah.
Business.
So what's so funny? We'll get together, and it's really weird for other people.
Yeah.
Because they don't hang out with us a lot. They'll be like, yeah, it's been like 10 hours. They haven't gotten up. I remember we had over at Rod's Ranch, we had this nice brisk cold morning. We had a fire, and we got over there. I think we started at 7:45, 8 a.m. And we literally went until dark. And I remember Rod's wife, Susan, like, hey, do you guys need food? Like, and we're like, yeah, that would be great. And then we're just ripping. We're having a blast, but we're just locked in because we like it. We love the game.
It's a passion serious thing. It's you breathe, like he said earlier. If you're not like that, then you're in the wrong game. You should be 9 to 5, and nothing wrong with 9 to 5.
Find something that you love.
You know what I mean? And the something you love.
Use business as a tool to do the thing you love.
100%.
Yeah. And it just so happens, if you get lucky, business might be the thing that you
Maybe.
love.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe.
Going back, so, being a high-level performer, long hours, stress, sitting down, problem, unpacking, processing, teamwork, goals, cyber attacks happening, God forbid. Dude, you need to get wellness. You need to take care of yourself, and that's where we're here in Newer Med Spa. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry to jump you. I recently had a breaking point in my own health, and it's so funny how you just went through that. There was this level of day of decision that it goes, I can no longer operate in the way in which I was operating to be able to go to this level.
100%. You said it.
And my body is telling me, and my body's probably told me for a certain amount of time, but I haven't listened.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to being me or doing it the way I've always done. And so you saying that about neuro and that trend, it's just like push yourself to capacity, and you'll learn real quick that there'll be enough pain there. That what does it say? That when the pain exceeds the rate of change, you will change.
100%.
Right? And it's pretty cool. Sorry to jump you.
Before I jump in 1 second. So another thing I wanted to talk about quickly here, since I'm sure you have a male audience mostly, right? Majority?
Good question. I don't know. I hope not.
Well, hope not. But listen,
We've got some heavy hitters that are women. That,
And I'm
they've
sure.
either been on the
Listen.
show or watching
Yeah.
closely. So,
But you should look into
shout out
demographics.
to those
But yeah,
badass
and men
bitches.
and women both. But most aesthetics, people think is what aesthetics for women, right? And it was. Now men are taking better care of themselves, not only from the wellness side. But guys, let's talk about it for a second. Y'all are good-looking men. Let's be honest, right?
Come on.
Come on, you are. Now, if
Stop
you
it.
had a stomach, a big belly coming out, and an ugly beard, looking yourself in the mirror, I don't think you'll feel the king that you are to take over.
Yes,
It
yes.
won't happen. There's a reason why Patrick David wears those amazing suits. Like, you know what I mean? That
wears a pretty sick paddock too.
Exactly. And people say, well, like you're being superficial, KB, the industry you're in, like you wear the Rolex, you wear these the designer clothes. Designer clothes is each one of us an individual preference. What's the reason why I wear that stuff and why I like to take care of my jaw, like I shared with you guys earlier. I got my jaw done. I'm gonna get it done tomorrow again. And I do a lot of aesthetics to my face, my body. My belief when I look in the mirror, I want to feel good, look good, and
Yes.
perform good.
Absolutely.
I want to be performing at the high level. Yes, I only have one med spa with 6 people, but my vision, my mind, I have 10 to 20 med spas with each one of them with 5-6 people running them. From here to here, I have to see that role. I'm the CEO of this company, and I have to look like a CEO. I have to feel like a CEO.
Well, it comes back to what you're saying. It's a process of achievement. You're stepping into the identity in which you want to operate through.
There you go.
And so
100%.
anybody who says aesthetics isn't important, that means that you should never get a haircut and you should never look sharp. The guy and gal who looks sharp, takes care of themselves, and operates at a high level and looks sharp, they're tough to compete with. Like it matters. And so the wellness and the aesthetic piece, I think, or the clothes and everything, is to step into the identity of that you're worthy. You're worthy of doing these things, and that's what that's what being in a position to have that personal power comes from, right? Like, it's a big deal.
Dude, you wore a suit to my podcast, your interview I did 2 weeks ago. I'm going to release this pretty soon. Shout out to you coming on my podcast, Stroke Success.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Dude, the suit you had on. Dude, it was, I was just looking at his suit half the time.
I got to give a shout out to Silver Fox on that one.
That's right. That's right.
Think about it. By the way, you don't have to wear a suit. You could have been a bomber jacket with that T-shirt, and but that spoke volume. You looked the part. So someone's gonna watch that podcast, God willing, and maybe they're having a bad day, and they want to get into insurance business or real estate, whatever. It's anything that's sales related. They probably see you and say, you know what, I want to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Right? So that makes a difference.
So cool. I totally agree with you, by the way. Totally agree with you. It's an investment of yourself,
It's an
just like
investment of yourself.
personal development.
And but it had to be a suit, even a nice T-shirt, a nice fitted T-shirt with nice pants, nicely pressed, no coffee stains all over, your hair done, your beard done. Yes, the Gucci's are great, but not everyone wants Gucci. It's okay, boots, but be put together
Sharp.
That's it. Sharp, man.
Sharp as a tack.
There's a lot of slobs out there trying to do sales, man. Like, what the hell are you guys
Oh
doing?
gosh.
You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
dude, yeah.
It's one of the reasons to take care of my body, right? Like, I want to live long and be healthy, but I also want to feel good about
100%.
myself. Because if I'm not feeling good about myself, I'm not able to operate at the level that I know that I need to operate.
It comes back to, I'd like to have it.
Yes.
Come
That's
on.
what it comes back to.
Come
Yes.
on.
That's
You're
it.
right.
Well, KB, man, I just want to say thank you, dude. This
guys
has
are
been
awesome.
a blast. I can't wait to chop this bad boy up and have some short
You
clips.
guys
I
are
think
awesome.
I flew off the handle one of the
Oh, I
times.
love that. You
that was
killed
fun.
it. You all killed it. You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for being on the show,
I
man.
love you guys. Thank
Bye
you.
for now.
Amazing. Wow. What do you guys think?